We're on number 46 of 52 creative ways to pray. And number 46 is prayers of grief and loss. 2 Corinthians 1 3 through 4 tells us that the God of all comfort comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others with the comfort that we ourselves receive from God. I don't know whether you're in the midst of a time of loss or grief right now, or maybe you're trying to walk through a time of loss or grief with one of your friends. But I can remember a time when I was walking through a grief of my own and loss when the story of Lazarus really stuck out to me. It's in John 11 if you want to take a look at it later. But it's during this time that we learn the shortest verse of the Bible, which is that Jesus wept. I can remember in my time of grief just how comforting that was. Jesus wept at the sight of his friend Mary, who was crying because her brother had died. Jesus knew he was getting ready to raise him from the dead, but in that moment, he saw her pain and her sorrow, and it moved him to tears. We can find so much comfort in the midst of that. We also know that from this story, Jesus mentioned that the way all of this happened was all for God's glory. That can be really hard for us to see in the midst of our grief and our pain and our suffering. But it is true. Jesus brings us hope even in the midst of the darkest of times. So I want you to remember two things as we're about to take a moment to pray. One, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to shed tears. Jesus himself wept over the death of one of his best friends. And Jesus wants to walk with you through your grief. You can pour out your heart to him. You can tell him how you're feeling, and you can ask him to comfort you because he wants to give you a comfort that you can find nowhere else. Also, I want to remind you to ask God to use your situation for his glory. The truth is, he will do that, even if we don't ask him. But he is so good to take our darkest of time and turn our ashes into beauty in the midst of grief and loss. We're about to take a moment to pray through loss and grief. If you're in the midst of that loss and grief, pour out your heart to Jesus. He wants to walk with you. If you're not in the midst of loss and grief, ask God to show you those around you who are suffering so that you can be his hands and feet and bring comfort to others and show them the love of Jesus. Take some time to pray right now.